the wider market, and certainly above footfalls just pre-pandemic as well. Liverpool particularly, stronger footfall coming back into the following restrictions than pre-pandemic.
And you are looking to diversify the property portfolio. What are the sort of things that you're looking to get greater weighting towards?
Well, I mean, the direct property activities of Grosvenor have historically been in what one might call the traditional sectors: office, retail, residential, and those will continue to be important, particularly in our direct businesses in the UK and in North America. But increasingly, we want to get exposure to sectors that we perhaps don't have expertise in ourselves, and so we're partnering and investing with others. Australian healthcare, for example, we've got a partnership in Australia in that sector, in Brazilian student housing, logistics in Poland, all manner of different sectors and markets to give us greater diversification within property, but then also outside property into the food and ag space, where we have everything from everything from plant-based protein alternatives through to recovering phosphate from wastewater that's then a more efficient and sustainable way to provide fertilizer, through to, you've just shown a photograph of some salmon restoration work we've been doing in the northwest of Scotland. So a lot of different diversification activities outside property as well.
Yes, you just mentioned food and ag tech. I think you invested something like £80 million in that particular field last year. How long typically do you give those sort of investments to pay off? Is this a sort of a patient capital play, if you like?
Yes, absolutely right, Ian. I think on the whole it is. I mean, to be honest, there's a big range of investments from the very early stage through to some later stage. So it's the answer really is it depends. But I think generally one can say it's about patient capital. It's a long-term view we've taken that we want to invest in that sector. And really across the wider Grosvenor, we're on a mission really to decarbonise our property activities, to then invest in food and ag to create a more sustainable food supply chain. What could be more important than that at the moment with food prices doing what they're doing? And it does require patience and long-term thinking, I think, to be able to make those kinds of investments.
Absolutely. Now, what about the rural estates piece? I mean, this is a pretty brutal time to be in agriculture.
Well, it's certainly a very challenging time, and of course we have our fair share of concerns about input costs. I mean, take for example our northwest dairy farm business in Cheshire, which produces 35 million litres of milk a year, which feeds about 500,000 people. It is, by one measure, the lowest carbon milk producer in the UK. But the input costs are growing, and in fact, because 80% of our fertiliser in the farming operation is organic, we're perhaps a bit less subject to high costs than others. But with fertiliser prices going from £300 a tonne to £1,000 a tonne, it's pretty painful for us as well as for everybody else. You're right.
Is there some good to come out of all this, though, Mark, if it does make the UK think again about its food supply chain and the fact that we have to be more self-sufficient than we have been in recent decades?
Most definitely so. And I mean, we know we have the capability to be self-sufficient, and I think we've, as you rightly referred to, we've taken it rather for granted, and this has been a wake-up call that, as you say, some good will come out of it. I think we do need a proper policy on food, and we haven't really had one. And it's high time we did. And so, yes, absolutely right. It's got to be a focus now for us, and it should always have been.
Now, Mark, as I mentioned at the beginning, you've tidied up the organisational structure. You've just appointed a new finance heavyweight as a new chair. And is this a precursor to possible corporate activity of some kind?
No, it's simply a reorganisation to make sure that we have the most efficient structure for the future strategy of, as we've just discussed, the further diversification within property, also the food and ag tech. It's simply that.
Very good. All right, Mark, we've got to leave it there. Appreciate you joining me today. It's good to see you again. Thank you.
Thanks for having me again, Ian.
Some other business news stories now. And the European Union has given the green light for AstraZeneca's COVID-19 vaccine for use as a third dose booster for adults. AstraZeneca said that there remained a significant challenge to ensure people receive both their primary vaccine schedule and third dose booster, and that the EU's healthcare professionals would now have greater flexibility in their choice of vaccine. The company also announced this morning that late next week it's going to be providing new data concerning some of its cancer medicines, and in particular a phase 3 trial of a treatment for metastatic breast cancer. The owner of B&Q and Screwfix said this morning that sales during the last 3 months had been significantly ahead of its pre-pandemic performance. Kingfisher, which is Europe's biggest do-it-yourself retailer, said that sales in February, March and April were up 16.2% on the same period in 2019 on a like-for-like basis. Within that, UK sales at B&Q were up some 16.2% and that at Screwfix they were up by 18%. Well, Thierry Garnier, the chief executive, said that the company was focused on priorities such as growing its e-commerce marketplace and expanding Screwfix in both the UK and France. And Moonpig, the leading online greetings card and gift platform, is buying Buy a Gift, the UK's leading gift experiences platform, for £124 million. Buy a Gift, which also owns the Red Letter Days brand, works with some 4,400 partners to offer experiences such as short stays, theatre and shows, dining out, afternoon tea and family days out. It has 3.3 million customers. Well, Moonpig said that Buy a Gift's portfolio of gift experiences would deliver an instant step change to the breadth and relevance of its range. Moonpig shares are currently up by some 10% right now. Well, still to come here on Ian King Live. We're going to be having a look at how global markets are doing this Monday morning. What a torrid week it was last week. Don't go away.
On Sky News, we discuss and debate the issues that affect us.
In a new lineup of midweek programmes at 9 p.m.
Join me, Trevor Phillips, for Common Ground, where I bring two people together who hold different opinions on current topics, seeing what might unite them.
I'm Sophie Ridge. Join me for The Take, where we'll be discussing the biggest political stories of the week, getting the opinions from politicians and also our viewers panel.
And join me for Beth Rigby interviews as I question decision makers from all walks of life, exploring their views on what's going on with Britain today.
Join us midweek at 9 on Sky News,
as we put people at the heart of the stories.
We aim to be the best and most trusted place for news. There are hundreds of these turbines. That's what's left of the North Tunnel. This is a show of strength. Shrapnel from that explosion. This is nearly a week after the attack. It's a complete scene of devastation. To the heart of the stories that shape our world. We're not sure about the road. We're going to try and find a way out if we have. We help you understand the world with us. Tom Cheshire, Sky News, Beijing.
Well, stocks in the Asia-Pacific region had a mixed start to the week, with Sydney more or less unchanged on the Australian election result and Shanghai similarly unmoved. Mumbai and Tokyo both finished higher, while Hong Kong fell by 1.25% amid concerns over Chinese growth. Well, in Europe, stocks have traded to the upside since the opening a couple of hours ago or so. Here's the current picture. Well, look at that. Actually, the CAC Quarant's in negative territory. Likewise, the MIB in Milan, the DAX putting on 0.5% there. Likewise, the IBEX in Madrid. Well, here in London, the FTSE 100 is in positive territory, currently up nearly 0.75% higher, some 52 points to the good in a broad-based rally. The leading blue chip gainer in percentage terms, mentioned them just before the break, is Kingfisher, but there aren't many other stock-specific stories for investors to get their teeth into in the FTSE 100 this morning. Outside the FTSE, M&C Saatchi, the shares are up 1%. That's after its biggest shareholder, Vin Muria, said she would not be raising her offer for the company, which last week agreed to a takeover by the rival Next 15 Communications. You can see on the screen there, Ted Baker, the shares off a fifth of 1% there nearly. That's after the private equity firm Sycamore pulled out of the battle to buy the fashion group. Ted Baker said today it had received several other revised takeover proposals. Meanwhile, the IT and software group Kainos, the shares there up some 17% right now on better than expected full year profits. On the foreign exchange markets, the US dollar has been running into a bit of profit taking after its recent strong run. Sterling currently up by 0.4%. That's the best one-day performance it's put in against the greenback for quite a while. It's off by 0.25% right now against the euro. A bit of a risk appetite re-emerging there among investors on the FX market. As for the oil price, that continues to tick higher amid hopes of a recovery in Chinese demand. A barrel of Brent crude will currently set you back $113.83 a barrel. That is up just over 1% right now. Well, joining me is Russ Mould. He is the investment director at AJ Bell. Russ, welcome to you. An awful couple of months, really, for investors in the US stock markets in particular. Is this a line in the sand being drawn, or is it just a sort of bear market rally?
Well, if I knew the answer to that, I'd probably be sat somewhere warmer than Brighton this morning anyway. But I do fear that it could still be one of those classic bear market trap rallies that we see. You and I remember the tech bubble bursting very well between 2000 and 2003. And I think there were 9 rallies in the NASDAQ then, which averaged 20-30% gains. And then in the end, the NASDAQ still went down by 78%. So I think we need to be very, very careful. I know that the Federal Reserve is tightening monetary policy, but it's only raised interest rates by, 0.75 percentage point? It's talking of another half in June and possibly July. And quantitative tightening hasn't even started yet. So I would be slightly wary of getting too overexcited too soon.
All right, Russ, please bear with us for a second. We're going to cross over to Davos now because we're about to hear from the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Let's just listen into what he's got to say.
To live in peace, determine its own means of governance, and choose the strategic alliances it wants to have. Every country's territorial integrity and sovereignty must be respected. These are the main principles, as the President of Switzerland has shown us, of international law and the post-World War II order. Mr. President, now on the first official day of the World Economic Forum Annual Meeting 2022, we convene in Davos at the most consequential geopolitical and geo-economic moment in the past decades. Mr. President, we have all seen the leadership, your courageous leadership. We are eager to hear from you on what lies ahead for your country and its people, your vision for peace in Europe and the international global order, and how we can assist you, because everybody of us is affected by what's happening in your country. Mr. President, the floor is yours.
Thank you. It's a great honor for me, Mr. Chairman, Professor Schwab, President Cassis, ladies and gentlemen, I'm grateful for the opportunity to take part in the discussions at the forum. The main theme for this year's Davos is history at a turning point, government policies and business strategies. This year, the words turning point appears to become more than just a rhetoric figure of speech. This is really the moment when it is decided whether brute force will rule the world. If so, the force is not interested in our thoughts, and there is no need for further meetings in Davos, as there would be no reason for that. Brute force seeks nothing but the subjugation of those it seeks to subdue. And it does not discuss, but kills at once. And Russia does that in Ukraine just as we speak today. By the way, look at the building of the former Russian house in Davos. It has been turned into a house of Russian war crimes. And this is an example of their transformation, that what Russia has done to itself by becoming a state of war criminals and what it brings to the world. It inspires other potential aggressors to act. Instead of successful, peaceful cities, there's only black ruins. Instead of normal trade, sea full of mines and blocked ports in Ukraine, instead of tourism, closed skies and thousands of Russian bombs and cruise missiles. This is what the world would like if that turning moment would not have a proper response from the humanity. It would resemble a large set of war crimes. So history remembers many moments when everything changed dramatically. For example, how several shots fired could kill millions of people. If those shots were fired on June 28, 1914 in Sarajevo, history remembers how much grief one person can do if it can see, it can understand that it's not been properly resisted, as it was, for example, in 1938 in Munich. Some historical twists and turns were noticeable, some not, but we always had to respond to them, trying to prepare for other historical upheavals so as to mitigate the possible consequences, or trying to heal the wounds out of catastrophes that followed one or another historical twist. And now we have a large collection of such responses. There's UN Charter with all these agencies, the OSCE, the IAEA, the WTO, and many other institutions. But are there enough of them to respond to what we have faced today? But is it possible now to try to adapt those institutions for modern challenges? Definitely not. We need to change the approach, not to respond, but to act preventively. And not only to adapt to new realities, what we have, but to create new tools, new precedents. Look at what Ukraine has already done. We have established a historical precedent for courage. We didn't listen to those who said that our defense would not hold longer than just a couple of days. We have stopped the Russian army, which was called the second largest in the world, at the cost of heavy fighting, at the cost of thousands of lives. We are gradually pushing the occupiers out of our territories. But would we have to do that if we were hard last year and a full range of sanctions would be applied against Russia preventively that could knock down any aggressor? I'm sure the answer is no. Preventing war could be guaranteed should the sanctions of the world would be preventive and not just imposed as the response. Ukraine has set another precedent in these 3 months, a precedent for the unseen unity of the democratic world around the emotions of genuine admiration for Ukrainians' courage and around the understanding that you would need to fight for the freedom. And now hundreds of millions of citizens in democratic countries are putting pressure on governments and companies to make sure they would limit or restrain their relations with the aggressor state, with Russia, and instead to help the people who was under attack. But this is happening only now. Even though Russia started its war against Ukraine back in 2014, we are grateful for this support, but if that happened back then, immediately, that unity, that pressure on governments, on companies for the stake of the fight for the freedom, would Russia start this full-scale war? Would it bring all these losses upon Ukraine and upon the world? I'm sure that the answer to this question is also no. Now we see that the world listens and believes Ukraine, but there's also a certain expectations of the world as to how the situation will be resolved, what tools will work, what new can we create to prevent such aggressions in future, and how do we stop the brute force that has challenged everything that we all cherish and value. That's what the turning point means. Ladies and gentlemen, don't expect for the fatal shots being fired. Don't expect for Russia using their special weapons, either chemical, biological, and even more so nuclear. Do not give the aggressor the impression that the world would not resist enough. Protect the freedom and regular peaceful order in the world with the maximum efforts possible. This is what the sanctions should be. There should be maximum, so that Russia and every other potential aggressor who wants to wage a brutal war against its neighbor would clearly know the immediate consequences for their actions. And I believe there's still no such sanctions against Russia. And there should be Russian oil embargo. All the Russian banks should be blocked. No exceptions. There should be an abandonment of the Russian IT sector. There should not be any trade with Russia. This should be a precedent for sanctions pressure that will work convincingly for the decades to come and would support the peace. It is necessary to set a precedent for the complete withdrawal of all foreign businesses from Russian market, so that your brands would not be associated with war crimes, so that your offices, bills and goods were not used by the war criminals in their bloody interests. Values must matter, particularly when a full-scale war begins and the global markets are becoming destabilized, because someone there is simply neglecting the values. In that case, everyone suffers losses. We offer every company that leaves the Russian market to continue operating in Ukraine. You'll have access not only to our market of 40 million consumers, but also to the common market of Europe. And your brands, your positions, they will only increase because you would truly support the protection of freedom. Our representatives here in Donbass can inform all of you on the details of the prospects that Ukraine opens for your businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, we offer the world to set a precedent for rebuilding the country after the war, which will show everyone who dreams of destroying the life of a neighbor that the war is not working. I invite you to take part in this rebuilding. The amount of work is enormous. We have more than $500 billion in losses. Tens of thousands of facilities were destroyed. We need to rebuild entire cities and industries. And we offer a special, historically significant model of rebuilding when each of the partner countries or partner cities or even partner companies will have the opportunity to take patronage over a particular region of Ukraine. It could be a city or community or even an industry. Britain, Denmark, the European Union and other leading international entities have already chosen a specific area for patronage in rebuilding, and thanks to this model of relations, the post-war rebuilding could be fast, could be efficient, and could be of high quality, and this would not only allow to attract the best specialists, architects, engineers, builders, developers, managers, and others, but it will also be the largest in Europe since the World War II. It will become the largest opportunity for an economic way forward, and I hope that at the beginning of the international conference in Lugano that was mentioned by the President Kassis, it will be held in July this year, dedicated to the post-war reconstruction of Ukraine. All of our partner countries and most of the leading companies of the world will come up with their own packages of proposals. And taking this opportunity, I would like to extend words of gratitude to Switzerland for organizing this conference and supporting our efforts. I would like to note the efforts of Ursula von der Leyen, particularly her proposal to establish a platform for rebuilding and reconstruction that would be managed jointly by the European Commission and Ukraine and will allow to direct the European Union resources to restore the normal life in our country. But the list of the new precedents that we need would not be complete without a few more decisions. There has to be a precedent for punishing the aggressor and for the investments in the peaceful life. The Russian assets, which are scattered in different jurisdictions, must be found. There has to be seized or frozen, and then they should be allocated to a special fund that would be used to help all those affected by the war. Of course, this is not easy, but after that, there will be definitely no motivation of every aggressor to do what Russia has done and what it continues to do. If the aggressor loses everything, then it definitely deprives him of any motivation to start the war. Let's move on. Any response to the mass famine is too late. By its definition, the famine should be stopped only preventively, when it's not yet started. But now, the world simply has no tool like that, and we propose to establish the Organization for Responsible and Democratic States, exporters of food products who can act with respect for human rights and global trade rules. The motivation for us is very simple. Whatever the turning points they are in history, the humanity should have a tool to protect itself against the hunger, and Ukraine is ready to provide a platform for the activities of this new organization, which is definitely an important one.
PR Interventions amplifies yours. Organized products and categories. Welcome to Gabby Dave Global. We are a UK-based online e-commerce store, the first of its kind with license to trade in African products. Some of the products are clothing brands and all beauty accessories, hair and beauty brands, natural aphrodisiacs, processed and dried unprocessed food. Our mission at Gabby Dave is to connect African and Caribbean businesses to customers globally. At Gabby Dave, we ensure our sellers get the best deal for their products. We are not just here to help you reach a wider audience. We are also a distribution center to support business growth by fulfilling orders to your customers from our warehouse, making sure customers receive their products on time. We are inviting all Black-owned businesses to trade on our platform because we strongly believe Africans have a unique brand the customer would appreciate globally. So get in touch today and let us make your product and business go far. Here are some of the benefits of using Gabby Dave Global. User-friendly platform, track your shipment, online support, transparent process, multiple SKUs, multiple products, a platform that encourages manufacturers as well as traders. Our marketing and PR interventions amplifies yours. Organized products and categories for easy access and navigation. Access to global community, especially within UK and Europe.
The CEO Experience presents Meet the Property Entrepreneurs. Master the wealth blueprint in a space where we are consciously empowering ourselves. Join us at our knowledge-filled events where you network, learn and grow whilst having fun. Learn from the UK's best property experts as they give a masterclass and share their secrets on how to attain wealth and achieve freedom. The CEO Experience. Be inspired.
Welcome to the winner's circle. If you made it here, it means you done put in the work, dude. Congratulations.
Regina, every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
The best radio show.
Hi there, this is CJ Buckman, your life coach. And whenever I'm in London, I listen to Starr Radio UK right here. But guess what? You can listen to wherever you are.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
This is Starr Radio UK. Are you ready to turn it up?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Your heart is aching. Smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you find that life is still worthwhile. If you just smile. Hey, this is Archie and you're listening to Starr Radio UK. Hello, good morning and welcome to Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Today is the 23rd day of May, the year 2022. Yes, I hope that you enjoyed that feed that we brought to you from Switzerland. Well, we had the president of Ukraine, Zelensky, doing a presentation there. That's why we wanted you to get a gist of it before we move on to the show. Well, wherever you are, join in this morning. Do me a massive favor, share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages as well. But let me say a special good morning to the one and only Abiola Adigan. Abiola, I hope you are doing very, very well. To my colleagues and my team this morning, Mr. Frank Davis, Mr. Olayomi Koiki, Kojo D, HRH Linda Pallien, and the one and only Mr. Francis Guy on production. Playing in the background something from Nana Manuel. He says it go happen. Maybe it looks like things are not working the way they're supposed to, but somewhere, somehow they do, you know. But still keep on trusting, keep on believing. But I'm saying morning to all our listeners in the Americas, those of you in Europe, those of you in Asia, those of you in Australia, those of you on the African continent. Amaya Jergani, good morning to you. Anthony Adedeji, Tosino all the way in Moscow. Massive good morning to you, to our listeners in Ghana, those of you in, all of you in Nigeria, South Africa, the eastern part of Africa as well. Lovely Kenya, Uganda, and our lovely listeners, the latest ones in Gambia. We salute you all. In Uganda, to Radio Tiso presenters, we salute you all. So this program is going live on Tiso Radio as well. So wherever you are, stay tuned, don't you go away. I remain yours sincerely, the one and only. Okay, so let me say, all protocol observed. Okay, all protocol observed, because we have been pressed a bit with time. But for those of you who have tuned in for the first time to listen to us, this is how the program goes on Mondays. I'm going to bring you the quote for the day, the weather forecast will follow suit, then the travel update as well. We move on from there to have a look at some of the stories making the rounds across the globe. Then after that, at 11 o'clock, I'll bring you updates from Nigeria. We hope to have Mr. Olayomi Koiki bringing us the feed. However, if not, he will feed in us with all the information that we need to put across. Then at exactly just after that, we'll move on to other parts of the world. As I say all the time, from archaeology to zoology, from Accra to Zanzibar, if it's making the headlines, we're going to be touching on that. We'll continue from there. And then exactly at 12 o'clock, the lines will be open for you to add your voice to the discussions. That will go on until 12:30 when we bring the first part of the curtain down for the first part of the program to take you to Cyprus, where HRH Linda Pallien is all lined up to come your way with Career 101. Then after that, the curtains are brought down for the end of the program. So in a gist, that's what's going to happen today. Wherever you are, once again, I say massive welcome to the show. Now, when we move on straight to the quote of the day, it says, patience gives you the ability to create your own opportunities with time. Patience gives you the ability to create your own opportunities with time. So impatience doesn't work, it doesn't work. Whatever it is, remember that definitely and certainly it will happen. Now moving on straight to the weather front. Yeah, it was quite a nice weather over the weekend. I don't know, for London and the southeast of England, it wasn't that bad, was it? Okay, so what is going to happen today? This afternoon will be cloudy with spells of rain spreading in from south, turning heavy in places. Rain will begin to clear away into the evening, but it will remain cloudy. Now this evening, the heaviest rain will clear away. It will remain largely cloudy overnight, and a few further scattered showers will drift in throughout the night. Top temperature is going to be 18 degrees, the low is going to be 10 degrees. Pollen level is going to be low, UV level is going to be moderate, pollution is going to be low. Sunset 20:57, sunrise for tomorrow morning 04:58 hours. And that brings us to the end of the weather forecast for you. Now let me take you straight to the travels. Let's see what is happening on the travels this morning. Don't you worry, we'll bring you lots of music during the course of the program, but let's head on straight.
Check it out. Keep your eyes on the road. Keep your eyes on the road.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Okay, so keep your eyes on the roads. Keep your eyes on the roads. I'll keep you navigated. I promise. About the Starr Radio Travel Update that comes to every weekday from 10:40, but coming a bit later than 10:40 today, 10:53. So what is happening on your travels? For those of you in London, well, the underground good service throughout when it comes to London Overground, TFL Rail, DLR, London Tramlink, or in good service. Now moving on straight to the major roads in London, that's the A roads. Now I can tell you shortly, now A2, A20, A24, A4 Central London Red Routes, North Circular A406 and South Circular A205 have all got closures there. A41 has got serious delays. If you can avoid it, do your best to avoid that. Now keep your eyes on the roads. Keep your eyes on the roads and keep you navigated. Moving on straight to the river bar this morning. Apart from the Woolwich Ferry that's got special service, all the others have got good service. And let's move on to the final segment of the travel update, as the National Rail. On the National Rail, once again, the First Trans-Pennine Express has got special service, ScotRail special service, and Transport for Wales have got severe delays. But check before you leave. But as I'll say all the time, well. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you, wherever you might be on planet Earth. Enjoy your commute for today, but you know what? Continue to keep those eyes on the roads.
The CEO Experience presents Meet the Property Entrepreneurs. Master the wealth blueprint in a space where we are consciously empowering ourselves. Join us at our knowledge-filled events where you network, learn and grow whilst having fun. Learn from the UK's best property experts as they give a masterclass and share their secrets on how to attain wealth and achieve freedom. The CEO Experience. Be inspired.
Welcome to the winner's circle. If you made it here, it means you done put in the work, dude. Congratulations.
Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to 4 minutes to the top of the hour. So what is happening? Let's look at it. Okay. When it comes to global trotting, what are some of the stories making the rounds there? Okay. Nigeria at crossroads over quality of politicians. That's some of the stories that we'll be looking at this morning. And then we've got Assembly Rep primaries peaceful in Delta State. That will be also looked at. We've got another story making the rounds that IPOB clears air on ESN bombing. Ohenia is a President General Obiazo's home. We'll be looking into that story. The indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB on Monday condemned the burning of the country's home of Professor George Obiazo, President General of the Ohanaeze Ndigbo. We'll be looking into that in a moment as well. And then some other stories still making the rounds. There's going to be a lot more from Nigeria on that front, but some other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world, as I will say. Well, in Ghana, interesting. Leave free SHS debate to politicians. President Akufo-Addo edges. But who are paying for that? That's another question. But interestingly, all this thing about the Achimota forest, people have been saying that, well, it's not something that, we are now thinking about what to do to release the lands to various people, blah, blah, blah. Apparently, what is happening is that the late Sir John, who was the CEO of the forestry commission in Ghana, had already betrothed some of that portion of those lands to his family members. Now, information coming through says that is going to be investigated. But if you say that these have not been done, that what is happening. We'll bring you more on that front. Terrorism alert. Be vigilant. Report suspicious persons. Now, the thing is, are we taking care of what? The push factors or the pull factors that will make people decide that they want to, engage in some of this. People know that if you engage in something of the sort, you might be killed or you might be maimed. So what will push them to decide that, look, this is the only option for us to just get in there? Apart from people who, let me say, when it comes to psychological issues, are easily able to be, drifted in or drawn into some of this debate, and they decide to embark on such journeys. I'm talking about people who are desperate. They need something to, depend on. Looking at everything that is going on around them, and they see that is the only option. Anything that they will not fall for it, if that is going to give them something to save their families or something of the sort. I want to know what you think about all that. It's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. We'll be bringing you a lot more from that front as well. And then moving on to some other story. Well, as I said, we're investigating claims that the late Sir John gifted portions of Achimota Forest to relatives. Land Ministry is saying. Well, more on that story going to be coming your way. Okay, invading other countries in the 21st century is simply barbaric. Who is speaking? I will bring you more on that front as well. Cameroon, Duodu, and then 15 companies and the 1D1F ready for unveiling. Not unveiling. We don't care about unveiling. They keep on going on about such things. Now, let's see production. The former president unveiled is it a sugar factory in Wellsopon? Okay, what has happened to it? We unveiled it. We did everything. But what is happening to that? We'll be looking into that in a moment, but it's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, when it comes to other parts of the world, hospital worker held on suspicion of poisoning a child. The woman, 27, is suspended from Birmingham Children's Hospital after the sudden death of a child. Now, what exactly goes on in some people's head? This, if you go to hospital now, you have to be praying, or you don't know who is going to be treating you, you don't know what is going on in the head of whoever that health expert there. Okay, now high-risk monkeypox contact advised to isolate. I remember back, I think about a month ago, I was on a platform where somebody was saying that they said there's going to be another form of a pandemic or something going to be happening. Now, I saw this monkeypox thing. I'm like, earlier on they said 1 or 2. Now it seems to be spreading around. So what? Is it that? Okay. Well, official guidance recommends quarantining for those who have had unprotected direct contact with the virus. We'll be talking to you more about it because it's quite scary at the moment. How do you get in touch? Is it that you shake hands with somebody, you can get it? What exactly? They said it has to be a human to human body contact. So is it the other one? Well, we'll be looking into that. Okay. All right, and then some other stories coming through. Breaking news. Russian tank commander has been given life sentence in Ukraine over killing unarmed civilians at first war crimes trial since invasion. Well, we hope that he is treated fairly there and he had a fair hearing. Zelensky addresses world decision makers at Davos summit as Zelensky urges maximum sanctions on Russia. We can't let brute force rule the world, Zelensky tells WEF. And Zelensky addresses World Economic Forum. I don't know, some stories making the rounds there. It is all gone. 2 minutes past the top of the hour. So looking at some other story. Colonel in Iran Revolutionary Guard assassinated. Sayyad Kodai, a senior figure in elite Quds force, was reportedly shot dead in his car by 2 gunmen. Who were perpetrators and who were behind it? We'll be looking into the explosive Tonga volcano, surprisingly intact. Well, is it going to go or are we still waiting? Now, flirting with danger over Taiwan, Biden says the U.S. leader, that's China flirting with danger over Taiwan. The U.S. leader vowed to defend Taiwan if China attacked, likening such a move to Russia's war in Ukraine. Are we at the verge of seeing a massive war break out? Maybe this year? or in this century? Well, a lot more going to be coming your way from that front, but it's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. All right, one final story from the UK front. That's it when it comes to politics. Well, Joe Gray finalizing Downing Street report. Do you think that will impact the Prime Minister's position in any way or form? Would it make his position untenable? And then he has, which I know that it will never happen. After all, he's had a meeting with Sue Gray. And in fact, he was the same person who appointed Sue Gray to actually conduct that investigation into that. So, what do you think? All right then, this and a lot more going to be coming your way, but stay tuned, don't you go away. Enjoy this song, and once we come back, I'll be bringing you the updates from Nigeria.
I don't know how to explain it, but it is like saying there is nobody, nothing, between nothing and anything between nothing. Yeah. Come on now, guys. Come on. Are you ready? Oh yeah. I want to change it a little bit, all right? I don't know how to, but I know how to groan in the spirit, but not with my legs, all right? Come on. Come on. I see you. I see you.
Amen. Hallelujah. Amen.
Welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK. Something from Denzel Prempe. And it says, Noko Noko Bear. There isn't anything that God can't do. God is able to do exceedingly and abundantly above. What do you think? And even ask for. What about that? Well, it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to 10 minutes past 11. And it is the Monday edition of the morning show. As I said, it's now time for us to go to Nigeria, where a lot of stories are making the rounds. But hey, I've got some information, some information that have been shared with me by my colleague Mr. Frank Davis pertaining to what the late Sir John actually his will. Last will of testament. What should be done? Now, how many years ago since he died? Is it 2? Is it 3? Because he died from COVID. So was it in 2020? Yeah, I think so. 2020. Yeah. Okay. And then well, now we come out with this Achimota issue, Achimota Forest issue, and they say that, well, you know, it's not been shared yet. It's not been given to the Owo family yet. However, information coming through shows that, well, somebody has bequeathed that. Well, I'll try to get you all the dates and all the other information about it. Then you can make your own mind about it. But the question is, if our politicians are liars, are lying to us through their teeth, and when you go to the courts, you don't get the redress that you're actually seeking for, you go demonstrating and you are crushed, then what is the way forward? What is the way forward? We'll be talking about that when we come to Ghana. But for now, let's go to Nigeria, where lots is happening there. Yes, Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, first story coming through. Nnamdi Kanu will be shocked. Lawyer on beheading of Anambra lawmaker. That is a sad. If you know a for a council of Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, has reacted to the beheading of Okoye, a member of the Anambra State House of Assembly, by unknown gunmen. Ejiofor said Kanu will be gravely shocked to learn of such killings in the southeast. He lamented that the blood-sucking demons have taken over the southeast. Now, gunmen have kidnapped the deceased, who represent Agwata 2 state constituency in the Agwata a few weeks ago, but the police discovered Okoye's head without a body on Saturday. The lawmaker's decapitated head was recovered at a motor park in Nobi. Reacting to the incident, Ejiofor said Kanu will not condone such acts in Southeast. But the question is, do they actually still believe that is their leader? He said, "Dear Igbos of goodwill, our land is under siege by blood-sucking demons. It is no longer in doubt that the insecurity rocking the Southeast region has taken an entirely troubling dimension and cannot be allowed to continue." Now, yesterday being the 21st day of May, I was inundated with the most unbelievable news making rounds of the gruesome torture and subsequent beheading of one Mr. Okechukwu Okoye and his co-traveler in Anambra State by their abductors. Now, may I assure you all at this point in time that my indefatigable client Nnamdi Kanu will be gravely shocked and saddened by this dastardly act too. Now, having previously and severally mandated me in the past to condemn such barbaric act on his behalf, these monsters that kidnap for ransom have no connection whatsoever with the freedom fighting movement. They are imposters and hirelings whose singular objective is to kill and destroy in a calculated attempt to demonize IPOB. Now, he goes on further to say, this is coming a few weeks after a military coup couple were also killed in Imo State. Now, some reports recall that Master Warrant Officer Awudu M. Linus, retired, and Private Gloria Matthew were beheaded on their way to perform their traditional marriage. The Nigerian Army accused IPOB and the Eastern Security Network (ESN) of being responsible for those killings. But this is a group who are fighting for the freedom of that part of the world. Somebody asks you that, what freedom? What freedom? Because if your own people are perpetrating such ills against you, then what freedom are you actually fighting for? But in order to get the goodwill of the people, do you think this is the moves that you have to take? Well, so do you think, or what do you think can actually resolve some of these issues that is going on? Well, some of them don't believe that Nnamdi Kanu is their leader. Simon Ekpa, a self-acclaimed disciple of Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, on Friday, insisted that the agitator no longer leads the group. Ekpa maintained that Kanu has been removed as a leader of IPOB and made a corporate director of the separatist group. He disclosed this while reacting to claims that Kanu has not been removed as IPOB's leader. A report had it that Kanu was removed as a director of IPOB and replaced with Sophia Chinyere Kalu. Now, Mrs. Kalu is said to be the group's financial secretary in the UK. Now, according to Ezeji Chukuma, a separatist who manages IPOB and Radio Biafra Community Interest Companies (CIC), registered in London, UK, Kalu is a new director of IPOB worldwide. But IPOB spokesman Emma Powerful had described claims of Kanu's removal as a gossip. Now, also, Kanu's special counsel Aloy Jimako said such reports were untrue. However, Ekpa described the denials issued by over Kanu's removal as a shame. In a tweet, Ekpa wrote, "It is a shame that those who claim to be fighting for Biafra after removing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu from being the leader of IPOB can publicly and shamelessly debunk the news, even when it is obtainable online, that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not the leader, but Sophia Kalu is. Disregard those claiming that MNK Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was not removed as leader of the IPOB. The fact is that they removed him. We busted and exposed them. Until now, MNK is not leader, rather a corporate director of IPOB worldwide." We will explain this in a few minutes during the live broadcast. So there's going to have a live broadcast, and we'll try to see whether we can get a feed from there to share with our leaders. But so, one final story from that part of Nigeria before we go on. Now, the indigenous people of Biafra on Monday condemned the burning of the country home of Professor George Obiazo, President General of the Ohene-Aze Indigbo. IPOB distanced its members and Eastern Security Network (ESN) from the attack on the building. Obiazo's country home in Oru East local government area of Imo State was razed down by some unknown gunmen. The gunmen used improvised explosive devices, that's IEDs and petrol bombs, to raze down the building. Now, reacting, IPOB warned that those targeting Obiazo are treading on dangerous ground. In a statement, Emma Powerful, spokesman of the group, said, "We, the global family of the indigenous people of Biafra, ably led by our great leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, totally condemned the burning of the house of Professor George Obiazo, the President General of Ohene-Aze. This barbaric act is shameful and disgraceful to Indigbo. There is no gainsaying that the fact that criminals behind this cowardly act are those against the liberation of Biafra and the release of our leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, so as to create the wrong impression that Biafra agitators are violent." Now, with all the stories that are put across, how do you judge them? How do you see them? How do you see them? That is a problem. And how are the communities or the people around the world where you want to gain their sympathy and their support, if you go on or go about doing things like that, how do you reckon they're going to be seeing you? That is why the government of Nigeria say they are a proscribed group who have been labeled as terrorists. Well, if these people are from your side, then I think that some introspection has to be done and deal with them or get rid of them or bring them to power so that they can face the full rigors of the law. Well, it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. 19 minutes past 11 the time. The morning show updates from Nigeria. Now, moving on to some other stories making the rounds in Nigeria as well. Nigeria at crossroads over quality of politicians. That's one of the stories making the rounds there. It's 10 months to the general election. Nigeria's Economic Summit Group has said that Nigeria is at crossroads over the quality of politicians presented to the electorate. The NESG chairman, Mr. Asiu Egoadalu, while speaking at the National Economic Dialogue on critical challenges of confronting the Nigerian economy in Abuja at the weekend, said the group is concerned about the quality of politicians jostling for leadership positions in the country. He said, "We are at a significant crossroad. This is a moment in our national history where we need political leaders to emerge who think globally and act locally to tackle seemingly intractable development problems." Now, the emergence of such enlightened leadership, credible, competent, courageous, reform-minded, and able to rebuild the institutions of governance is what Nigeria desperately need now. But the question is, has Nigeria got that? He flagged the process and quality of candidates that political parties have been representing to the electorate in the past. He said, the process by which each party will select their candidate during their primaries and the characteristics and capacity of the person selected is of critical and defining importance. Now he goes on further to say, where the parties saddled us by their process and selection with candidates not fit for purpose, without the capacity, ability, grasp of issues, integrity, courage, and love of the country and our people, the option we then have during the general election, they are poor and unpalatable. Now it goes on further to say in the quote, so we the people of Nigeria must collectively signal to our political parties that they must select only the best from their ranks and that we shall only support parties that present competent candidates. The chairman said that achieving the Nigeria of our dreams was the obligation of the government of this and to the citizenry, adding, we the citizens also have a strong responsibility and role to play in ensuring that this is achieved. We must insist that as our politicians are beginning to set or reshape their plan on the way forward, they will be mindful of the various negative socio-economic indicators and not lose sight of or focus to finding a path to transformational progress. We the citizens need to pay attention to the quality of our political system, processes, institutions, and economic reforms. Our collective responsibility is to deliver a first world country with happy and safe citizens. Now this is a call to national service. We all must be more involved, more selfless, and more tolerant, acting in the national interest. Now, critical challenges causing economic dysfunction. Mr. Gdalo identified non-inclusive economic growth, macroeconomic instability, infrastructure deficit, human capital deficit, and skill gap. Now, national insecurity and weak economic competitiveness are some of the most critical challenges confronting the nation's economy. Infrastructure deficit, the chairman noted, remained a major challenge, with Nigeria ranking 24th out of 54 countries covered in the African Development Bank Infrastructure Index Report 2020. According to him, national insecurity is at the heart of recent socio-economic issues in Nigeria. If unchecked, The recurrence of community and personal insecurity will continue to threaten macroeconomic stability in Nigeria. Now, Mr. Igodalo added, Nigeria's weak economic competitiveness remains a crucial concern for investors. Now, businesses in Nigeria face obstacles that threaten the survival and expansion. Inequality set back to Nigeria's economic, Professor Ogu said. Now, Professor Osita Ogu, Director of Institute of Development Studies, University of Nigeria, said leaders cause things to happen. Nigeria is classified as the poverty capital of the world, but enough policies are not placed on their inequality, because inequality undermines the trust and solidarity whereby we have an economy of non-inclusive growth. On what someone would have would be the next president of Nigeria would do, simply the issue of poverty and inequality is pervasive, and it's not a single matter of there are many rich and poor people. It is a matter of citizenship. How do you expect these people who do not have a stake in increase in the country to regard themselves as citizens of this country? Now, because of this, there is an increase in a non-state actors because they do not believe their children have a future in the country. How true is that? Now, on macroeconomics stability, on what we should do, let me still say it is here that politics is superior to economics. Now, fix the politics first, because if you fix the politics, that is a major step to fixing the economy. Now, because a major economic policy or policies are made by politicians, this country has no fidelity to national planning. Nigeria in huge development crisis. He goes on further to say, he says that as a country, we are in huge development crisis. For the past 4 decades, ASU strikes have been quite consistent. Universities have become like constituency projects. We are just recovering from the 9-month strike in 2020. The crisis in the universities is a reflection of the crisis in our education sector. He went on further to say, COVID led to school closures, and the out of school number has increased, and violent conflicts in the northwest has also brought about closure of schools and increased out of school children. At a time when countries like Botswana could boast about 88% of literacy rate in Nigeria, we are still hovering around 57% literacy rate. We need to invest in the education sector. The government only build physical infrastructure, but not to mobilize the people to attend school, and all leads to corruption in the system as a way to sustain the sector. He goes on further to say, another professor who spoke in the person of Dr. Ari Azen, he said, Nigeria cannot escape from the predicament of global increasing commodity prices. The producers of grain in other parts of the world outside Europe, Ukraine, and Russia should avoid a tendency of protecting their own production, because that would even compound the problem further in terms of prices. Now, when we look at Nigeria closely, the development of the agricultural sector, increasing productivity, allowing the production of food to increase to satisfy the domestic demand for food at affordable prices is important priorities among other priorities. My apologies. Now, in a quote, it said, food security is important, and there should be a specific attention to it by the government to effectively produce enough food for Nigerians and to prevent shocks. Now, he goes on and on and on, and I tell you, I can go on and on and on and on with that speech that was made pertaining to the 2023 elections of Nigeria, where they're saying that, well, they think that candidates that have been presented are not, let me put it in this way, good enough. What do you think? Do you think that Nigeria's elections 2023 is going to take place? Or you think, well, it's one of those things, we have all these people come to speak big grammar and nothing will happen about that? But well, it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now let me see whether I can bring you one other story, and then we can bring the updates to close. Now, one from the PDP camp pertaining to their election of a presidential candidate. Okay, and one from the vice president as well. So let me take the vice president's statement first. Now, Professor Yemi Osibanjo, Nigeria's vice president and one of the presidential aspirants in the 2023 elections, has said that in order for the country to attain great potential, the people must be united. The vice president disclosed this in a statement seen by Nairametrics, which was issued while visiting Zamfara and Katsina State as he proceeds on his interactions with all progressive Congress delegates across the country. According to the statement, which was issued and signed by his media aide, Laulu Akande, the vice president noted that a united nation will attain true greatness. Now, Professor Sibanjo said he hopes to make the country truly great, which can only be achieved if everyone works together. He said one of the most important things for our country is that we must be united. There is no other way. The reason is because the greatness of this country depends on our numbers and diversity. If you look at the other African countries, many of them are smaller than states in Nigeria. This is a country that works best when we are together. Despite religion and tribe, every one of us must come together. In a quote, he continues to say, I look forward to ensuring that our country becomes one that is truly great. But it can only realize its true potential if we all work together to achieve that potential. I know that this country can be united because the people of this country want to be united and work together. If we are united in this country, everything will work easily for me. One of the most important things is fairness and balance, said Osibanjo. Now, so that's a statement that has come from the vice president, who is one of the aspirants when it comes to the APC presidential ticket. Okay, now when it comes to the PDP, well, a former aide to ex-president Goodluck Jonathan, Ren Omokri, on Monday advised People's Democratic Party to postpone its presidential primary elections. Now, reports that Omokri said Nigeria main opposition party should hold their primary elections after the ruling All Progressive Congress. Now, if I will counsel the PDP, I will urge them to postpone their presidential primaries until the APC hold theirs. The APC is confused. That is why they are talking of consensus. They want to choose their candidate based on who the PDP chooses. So frustrate them, Omokri wrote on his verified Twitter handle. The PDP has fixed its primary elections for May the 28th and 29th, while that of the APC has been scheduled for May the 29th and 30th. A total of 11,500 delegates selected from across the country will participate in the elections of the two parties, while the APC has 7,800 and the leading opposition party has 3,700 delegates. 38 aspirants are in the race for the presidential tickets. 38, my goodness. Of the two leading parties, while the APC has 23, the PDP has cleared 15 aspirants to compete for its presidential ticket. But the question is, do you agree with this advice by the PDP? Do you agree to this advice by the PDP? Do you? I want to know what you think about that. We're going to take a commercial break, and once we come back, some music, and then we'll move on from there. But that's where I bring the updates from Nigeria to a close. Stay tuned and don't you go away. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
The CEO Experience presents Meet the Property Entrepreneurs. Master the wealth blueprint in a space where we are consciously empowering ourselves. Join us at our knowledge-filled events where you network, learn and grow whilst having fun. Learn from the UK's best property experts as they give a masterclass and share their secrets on how to attain wealth and achieve freedom. The CEO Experience. Be inspired.
Welcome to the winner circle. If you made it here, it means you done put in the work, dude. Congratulations.
Welcome to Gabby Dave Global. We are a UK-based online e-commerce store, the first of its kind with license to trade in African products. Some of the products are clothing brands and all beauty accessories, hair and beauty brands, natural aphrodisiacs, processed and dried unprocessed food. Our mission at Gabby Dave is to connect African and Caribbean businesses to customers globally. At Gabby Dave, we ensure our sellers get the best deal for their products. We are not just here to help you reach a wider audience. We are also a distribution center to support business growth by fulfilling orders to your customers from our warehouse, making sure customers receive their products on time. We are inviting all Black-owned businesses to trade on our platform because we strongly believe Africans have a unique brand the customer would appreciate globally. So get in touch today and let us make your product and business go far. Here are some of the benefits of using Gabby Dave Global. User-friendly platform, track your shipment, online support, transparent process, multiple SKUs, multiple products, a platform that encourages manufacturers as well as traders. Our marketing and PR interventions amplifies yours. Organized products and categories for easy access and navigation. Access to global community, especially within UK and Europe.
Radio UK.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
All around the world.
The ballot box.
You are listening to Starr Radio Morning Show.
Go to the polling station and give them a bloody nose. Go to the polling station and give them a bloody nose. One man, one vote. It is your right. If you have a vote, you've got power. So every man have a vote. Every woman have a vote. Use the ballot box. Use the ballot box. Use your vote. Go to the polling station and give them a bloody nose. Go to the polling station and give them a bloody nose. Break no lies, take no bribe, take no promises, take no
Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to 18 minutes to the top of the hour. That means 18 minutes to 12. We've got a lot of stories that we're going to be looking at. So let's crack on and have a look at it. But share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages as well. But let's move on straight to some stories that is making the rounds in Ghana. Now, interestingly, last week we did talk about the story that broke that the week before pertaining to the Achimota lands, okay, Achimota forest lands. Now, interestingly, some information has emerged that Sir John, the late Sir John, the CEO of the forest, is Ghana Forest Commission, had already willed portion of those lands to his family. Now I have privy to some of the copies of the will that shows that, and God willing, tomorrow I'll put it across. Now, so it said the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources say it will investigate the allegation that former Chief Executive Officer of the Forestry Commission, Kwajo Owusu-Afriye, also known as Sir John, owned some lands in the Achimota Forest, named the said land in his will. A media report that had suggested that Sir John, in his will, named his children and some individuals related to him as the ones the land should be given forever to. They said the said will has been circulated on social media, in which 5 persons have been named as the beneficiaries of the said lands. It is dated May 20, 2020, a few weeks before Sir John died in July 2020. The said will in circulation was certified at the High Court in August 2021. In a press statement issued by the Public Relations Unit of the Sector Ministry, it said the ministry takes a very serious view of the allegations and has requested for all documents relating to the lands in question as part of an initial inquiry to ascertain the veracity of the claims, considering that the issues that form the basis of allegation predate the tenure of the current minister, Samuel Abujinapo. It is important that he seized with the full fact to enable him take appropriate action if needed. There is any merit, if needed, if there is any merit in the claims. Well, so a statement that came from them. Allegations surrounding Achimota Forest and the purported will of the late Forestry Commission CEO. The attention of the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources have been drawn to documents making the rounds on social media, which alleges that the late former Chief Executive Officer of the Forestry Commission, Kojo Uswefriye, had included portions of the Achimota Forest in his will and given out same to individuals who are said to be related to him. The ministry takes a very serious view of the allegation and has requested for all documents relating to the lands in question as part of initial inquiry to ascertain the veracity of the claims. Now, considering the issue that formed the basis of the allegation predate the tenure of the current minister, as I said, Samuel Abujinapo, the ministry assures the general public and the good people of Ghana that it will ensure that the national interest is protected at all times. Really? Especially in matters pertaining to the Achimota forest. Really? Interesting. Well, listeners, it's quite an interesting one there. But what do you think? What do you think is going on here? Now, how can we even trust our politicians? Because if they will go on doing all this dodgy stuff, what do you think? Have Ghanaians lost hope now, or should they lose hope? Well, if you vote for people to come to administer the wealth of the country and make sure development takes place and that people can live their lives, go about their duties, whatever it might be, in peace, but end up finding out that there is no truth in whatever they say. They say A, and that A actually means B or B plus. They say white, and that is black or red. Then what do you think people should do? What do you think people should do? Well, I will bring you more on that front. Well, so in a tweet on December 9, 2014, let me take it from there. The candidate Nana Akufo-Addo said, "We do not own the land. We hold it in trust for generation yet unborn." That is in hashtag One Ghana Aliwu Memorial Lectures. That's where he made that statement. And then at a much later date, he told his appointees, "My message to any of you or anybody for that matter who wishes to serve in an Akufo-Addo government is this. If you want to make the money, then forget it. We don't need you and we don't want you." And like many other assurances that politicians have given to citizens, but have either lived below them or have completely thrown the dogs doing exactly or even worse forms of the things they preach, appointees of the Akufo-Addo government have been cited to go contrary to what their leader preached. The Ghana Web had put together two times two politicians shook the nation with their acquired wealth. And for more perspective, these two are both members of the ruling New Patriotic Party. We'll take a break and I come back to you. Just stay tuned. Don't you go away. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Check me out. He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes!
How do you get the energy to do
I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of the darkness. The hole of darkness.
So what did that?
Myself and the world will adjust. And 2019.
Forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on the CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Starr Radio.
Welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. 9 minutes to the top of the hour at a time, and it is the Monday edition of the morning show. As I did announce, exactly at 12 o'clock, the lines will be open if you want to add your voice to the discussions, and then exactly at 12:30 we'll bring the first part of the program to close, where I take you to Cyprus, where our lady HRH Linda Pallien is all waiting in the lines to bring you Career 101. So wherever you are, don't you go away, continue to stay glued to your sets. Now let's go back to some of the other stories that I was looking at. Well, and that's a story that somebody's written pertaining to various people who have worked with the Ekufuado government, who Ekufuado was getting ready, or was addressing his people who were supposed to be working with him. Did made a statement that, well, if you are joining his government to make money, then you got no place here. But let's see what has happened. Well, the director of communication at the presidency, Eugene Ahin, came into the news for all the bad reasons in early 2021 when a divorce suit from his ex-wife, Gloria Hassan Ahin, came to the public light. In the said suit also, Gloria Ahin, who said she and her husband, married in 2012, listed various properties they acquired together as a couple and prayed that the court grant her ownership of portions of the properties she listed. She also wanted the court to declare her a joint owner in equal shares with the respondent in all properties acquired in the course of their marriage. The details of what rate got many across the country spellbound and in utter shock, as many wondered how it was that Eugene Ahin was able to acquire so much property in such a short time. Well, if you want to know more about that, I promise you I'm going to do that tomorrow, God willing. Sir John's, well, as the country was coming to terms with the various controversies surrounding the sale, privatization, classification or not of the Achimota forest lands, it emerged that some members of the governing New Patriotic Party had already acquired some portions of the forest lands. You remember last week when I was saying that, I said, well, I really hope that when these lands are given to the Owu family, because initially it was supposed to be 100, it was supposed to be about 91, which came to about 100. Now they are giving up to 300 plus acres out to this family. Is it that they are giving maybe the 91 or the 100 that they wanted to give to them, and the others is one that is coming to them? What exactly is taking place there? Okay, now This was even before the government returned the peripherals of the forest to its custodial owners, identified as the Owu family. Now, page 5 of the last will and testament of Kojo Owusu Efriye, John, available to Ghana. Some of the news network shows that the late CEO of the Forestry Commission, together with one Charles Owusu, had already secured parts of the Achimota forest. Now, we vote people into power. We vote people into power to serve us. We know in our part of the world, they don't serve us. They become our lords. They become lords over us. And we have to kowtow them. But when you get to a point where you see that these individuals are taking you for a mug, then what do? Because just linking it with the story that I did read from Nigeria pertaining to one of the top hooks there, one professor saying that, well, if it comes to the candidates that are presented for the leadership of the country, he thinks that they are something that he thinks that they don't qualify. But it's a case where before Kufuor came to power, he stood on the various platforms saying, you test me, see that I wouldn't do diligence to the wealth of the country, making sure that you enjoy development, blah blah blah. There is lots of money in the country and we are sitting on it, and blah blah blah. People are going hungry, blah 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 blah. But this is the case where under his watch, my goodness. Now, Sejani in his will wrote that he owns 0.987 acres of the Achimota forest land, and he gives his portion to his nephews. He also handed other portions of land at the same location to other people. I give my land also situated at the Achimota forest in the name of Faso Limited and measuring 0.987 acres to my nephews Michael Owusu, Yabuedu, and Kwabena Amwatin forever. He goes on further to say, I jointly own a piece of land at Achimota forest with Charles Owusu. Upon my demise, my portion of the said land should be given to Ruth, Koko, or Donko. I give my portion of the land that I jointly own at the Achimota forest in the name of DML Limited to Elizabeth Asare Boatin, who at the time of making this will is domiciled in the US forever. Portions of Sir John's will reads. Now, immediately after copies of Sir John's will, last will was made public, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources in a statement indicated that it has requested all documents relating to the Achimota lands as part of an initial inquiry to ascertain the veracity of the claims which are contained in the will of Sir John. Now, if that distribution has not taken place already, how could they have gotten it? Now, it's on the social media platform everywhere. And you see it in his will, which has been certified by the Fourth Estate. So what do you think had gone on? Is it a new thing that they are doing? Or they've already done the whole thing? And now it's just a matter of let's the whole thing. Hanya it a bit, and the people will think, oh, we are doing something. Well, the Owu family. Really? I bet you if they go invite any of the Owu family to come and make a statement now, they will say, oh, it's all coming to them that they don't know. But it's scary. They don't tell us the truth as politicians. Meanwhile, we go to the police stations and vote for them. They come in, they make sure they impoverish the people, and once you are hungry, they come and give you 10 pence, and you are happy to go with it. But you think that is fair to the people of Ghana? Well, it is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, so that story seems to be making the rounds every part of the country in Ghana. That's one of the top stories making the rounds there. Everywhere you go. So, who sold that land to him? Did he bequeathed that to himself, being the CEO of the forestry, being the head of that, he said, let me take it. Now that is gone. Now, do you think that the government has to stop this release of this land to the Owu family and then maybe just pay them? We find money to do nonsense, don't we? Why don't they find money to just pay them off? Well, after all, in the 1931, it was said that they paid them £4,000 at a time for acquiring those lands. What do you think had gone on? Do our politicians tell us the truth? Don't worry, I try to find out a very loud, nice song. Line it all up, and we'll look at that. But one of the stories that's making the rounds in Ghana once again pertains to terrorism. Now, terrorists may use religious activities to attack Ghana, national security warns. You know, at times when there are issues going on, and that seemed to be raising its ugly head, it tried to throw something in the public domain, and then that will drift the attention or pull the attention of the general public to that. Is it a ploy? Is that what they're trying to do? And what are the push factors? And what are the push factors? What is attracting the youth to say they want to join a group that they know that when the security, national security finds them, they will kill them or arrest them or whatever ill that might happen to them? But because of the fact that these people who some of them have not had a chance of life, or some who have completed their education, been to university, been to whatever, can't get any job to do because there are not enough jobs to go around. You know, you say that and they tell you that, oh, you have to be self-employed, go and find. To do what? Well, so is it another ploy just to throw something into the public domain to drift the public attention from the rot that is going on when it comes to the Achimota forest and in governance as well? Well, let's look at the story and I'll open the lines. The Ghana National Security Secretariat is urging Ghanaians to be extra vigilant since the nation is not immune from threats of terrorism. Now, the Secretariat, however, added that the security agencies in the country are alert to combat any form of terrorism. Now, we are not insulated from those attacks, therefore, we think Ghanaians should be aware. Why are we involving Ghanaians? The nature of the threats is such that it is not conventional warfare. They don't come in with the APCs and fighter jets. Deputy National Security Coordinator Edward Kweku Sumeni disclosed at the Meet the Press series held at the Ministry of Information yesterday. He continued that they come in all forms. It could be your pastor in the church, cleric in the mosque, individuals coming in as CSOs, purporting to do community work. That means that we all have to be vigilant. Also, we know that the terrorists want to assess the sea. The nature of the various attacks we have all seen in the sub-region indicates that wherever they go, there is a form of mineral or natural resource that there, particularly gold. Now, Mr. Sumeni further disclosed that, so the question therefore is, if they attack cities and towns in Burkina Faso that have gold deposits, clearly Ghana will be an interest. We are clearly therefore a target. That is why we are here today to seek the support of Ghanaians. The Minister for Information, Kojo Appoint Nkrumah, also indicated that it is prudent that Ghana has gets prepared for any eventuality with regards to terrorism. Now, increasingly, intelligence reports suggest that some Ghanaians have been involved in terrorist attacks in the Sahelian region. What this signals is that there has been the possible recruitment of Ghanaians by some of these terrorist groups in the West African sub-region. He added that government is announcing that it has put its security and intelligence agencies on increased awareness following the increasing number of terror threats and attacks and some worrisome intelligence reports closer to our borders as recently as the 10th of May in 2022 in Togo. But about 10 military persons died as a result of one of such terrorist attack. Now, Mr. Apon Nkrumah also disclosed that the ministry will on Tuesday, May 24, launch a campaign for the public to report any form of terrorist activity, which will see the announcement of a new emergency line 999. And when that number is called, who will pick it? Is it going to be one that rings and rings and rings and nobody, or just go boom, 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 boom and nothing happens? It's interesting. Or is it a ploy to now there's a campaign and therefore somebody has to go? Yeah, of course. I've been in that. I've worked in that sector all my lifetime. Okay, and when there are educational campaigns or such, or yes, there are big budgets that has to go with them. So is it another ploy to get some, okay, so this is going to happen and blah, 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 and some money comes from there? Is that what is going to happen? Like they say they give 100 million Ghana cedis to dredge the Odo River, and the next moment there was rain and there's been total floods. Buildings submerged. The, what do you call that place? The Tiptolet area submerged underwater yesterday. And he said, you know what? Now, flooding did happen in 1960s. Some did happen, blah, blah, blah. And you look at all those things and you ask yourself the question, what the heck is happening there? But this is all Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. It is now 6 minutes past the top of the hour. If you want to join the conversation, it is 0208 2257 or 58. 0208 2257 or 58. Now, if you happen to be in the US, Canada, or the Caribbean area, it is 001718303273. 001718303273. You can also text or WhatsApp as 0753966174. For our Twitter handle is Star Radio UK, and email address is info@starradiouk.com. All right, we take a musical break. We come back and I take you to other parts of the world. We want to see what is happening there as well. But remember, exactly at 12:30, we'll be bringing the first part of the program to a close and take you to Cyprus, where our own HRH Linda Pallien is. So stay tuned and don't you go away.
The problem of Africa is the lead. Africa. Who run things, who run things, who run things. The problem of Africa is the lead. Africa. Who run things, who run things, who run things. Them all go to universities. Universities award them degrees. Big degrees. 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 Big degrees. MSc in stealing. Bachelor of Arts, mismanagement. Another degree. Masters in looting. MSc in corruption, Bachelor of Science, nepotism, MSc in 4 years, another degree, Bachelor of Arts in discipline, MSc in embezzlement. The problem of Africa is the lead. Africa. Who run things, who run things, who run things. The problem of Africa is the lead. Africa. Who run things, who run things, who run things. Some of them went to London. PhD in Kwasiasem. PhD, pull him down. MSc in kill your donkey. The problem of Africa is they leave.
This is Starr Radio UK. All around the world.
The problem of Africa is they leave. Who run things, who run things, who run things.
Well, it is Starr Radio UK, something from the Zongo man himself, and he sums it all up nicely. The problem of Africa, the lead who run things, that they are so engrossed in their own personal interest that, hey, when it comes to the interest of the majority, I tell you, they throw it under the bus. Now, what do you think? Well, or throw it to the dogs. All right, then. Now, let's move on to other parts of the world. As I said, we've got about another 19 minutes to bring the first part of the program to a close, because we'll be going to Cyprus, where our lady, the one and only Linda Pallien, is to have a look at what is happening there. All right, then. Now, so on the African continent, Kenyan president addresses World Health Organization, World Health Assembly in Geneva. What is he looking for there? Those are some of the stories making the run. Qatar has hosted security conference ahead of the World Cup for countries that will be going traveling there or be competing in the World Cup. Some information there for you. A tribute is being paid to 5 soldiers killed in a clash with jihadists in Burkina Faso. Until when? Now, Macky Sall received German Chancellor discusses major gas project to Europe. Okay, those are some of the stories making the rounds in these parts of the world. But let's move on straight to that story. Let me bring that your way, and then we go pertaining to the first in-person World Health Assembly since the beginning of the pandemic kicked off in Geneva yesterday. Uhuru Kenyatta, whose country is one with the 34 members of the executive board, urged purchasing organizations to prioritize procurement of locally manufactured health products. Now, the president of Kenya praised World Health Organization chief Tedros for his leadership during one of the WHO's most challenging periods. Now, he went on further to say, amid the coronavirus pandemic, now Uhuru Kenyatta, whose country is on the WHO executive board, spoke at the Geneva first in-person health assembly since the start of the COVID-19 global crisis. The pandemic exposed the over-dependence of developing countries to external markets. Kenyatta said, urging purchasing organizations such as the Global Fund to prioritize procurement of locally manufactured health products from the countries they serve most. Greater vaccine and medicinal equality was strongly urged by Tedros throughout the pandemic. Raising the issue once again, Kenyatta told the assembly no country was immune to the impact of the virus, and no nation, however well resourced, can do this alone. Those are some of the stories making the rounds there. It's all coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, let's move on straight to some other stories making the rounds. Where in other parts of the world before we come to the UK front. Okay, so let me just pick this one first, to link it with what the World Health Organization meeting. Now, anyone at the high risk of having caught monkeypox should isolate for 21 days after guidance said. The advice from the UK Health Security Agency, UK Health Security Agency, applies to anyone who has had direct or household contact with a confirmed case. Now, contacts are advised to provide their details for contact tracing, forgo travel and avoid contact with immunosuppressed people, pregnant women, and children under 12. The UK has so far confirmed 20 cases. And the question that I'm asking is there another virus that is just coming up. This is something that they said that it's not new. Monkeypox has been there all this while. So what is causing it to flare up again? Now, more than 80 have also been identified across Europe, the US, Canada, Israel, and Australia. Monkeypox is a rare viral infection most common in remote parts of the Central and West Africa. The disease, first found in monkeys, does not tend to spread easily between people, but can be transmitted through close physical contacts, including sexual intercourse. Who has had a sexual intercourse with a monkey? Okay, symptoms which include a high temperature, aches, and rash of raised spots that later turn into blisters are typically mild, and for most people clear up within 2 to 4 weeks. The person is considered at high risk of having caught the infection if they have had a household or sexual contact with or have changed the bedding of an infected person without wearing personal protective equipment. Now, other people who may have come into contact with a case do not need to stay at home and isolate, but should watch out for symptoms such as fever and a rash. So do you find yourself there? Okay, so let me bring you the symptoms. Now, initial symptoms include fever, headaches, swelling, back pain, and aching muscles. Are you getting one of those? Nah. Okay, once the fever breaks, a rash can develop, often beginning on the face, then spreading to other parts of the body, most commonly the palms of the hands and soles of the feet. The rash, which can be extremely itchy or painful, changes and goes through different stages before finally forming a scab, which later falls off. The lesions can cause scarring. The infection usually clears up on its own and lasts between 14 to 21 days. So, although there has been a small number of deaths attributed to the virus in West and Central Africa since December, particularly in the Democratic Republic of Congo, none have been reported by the World Health Organization in other countries, where cases have been found as well. Well, Dr. Susan Hopkins, a chief medical advisor for the UK HSA, said community transmission was occurring in the UK. She goes on further to say, we are finding cases that have no identified contact with an individual from West Africa, which is what we've seen previously in this country, she said. Should we be scared? Should we panic? Well, I don't know whether the sanitizer will be helping now. But well, they said that you have to have a close contact sexual intercourse before you get that. So, well, this is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, 12:18 the time. Well, it is all happening in North Korea. Let me bring you that one before we come to what is happening in Ukraine. Now, North Korea Kim Jong-un is seen at state funeral not wearing the mask, but this time around he's helping carry the coffin. So who has died? North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has attended the funeral of a top military official as the country faces a COVID outbreak. He was seen on state television not wearing a mask while carrying the coffin of Young Ko Hai. Okay, the top military officer who has passed. So how is the COVID actually impacting that part of the world? How is the COVID impacting that part of the world? It is all Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Which is, wait, he has to pray to God, right? Okay. I'm not being sizist. Okay, now in another story making the rounds this morning as well, a court in Ukraine has jailed a Russian tank commander for life for killing a civilian at the first war crimes trial since the invasion. Captured soldier Sergeant Vadim Shishimarin was convicted of killing Alexander Shilipov, 62, in the northeastern village of Chupavika on the 28th of February. He admitted shooting Mr. Shilipov, but said he had been acting on orders and asked forgiveness of his widow. Now, multiple other alleged war crimes are being investigated by Ukraine. Moscow has denied its troops targeted civilians during the invasion, while Ukraine says more than 11,000 crimes may have occurred. This trial in the Ukrainian capital, Kyiv, is being seen as Ukraine's chance to prove beyond doubt that a Russian soldier killed a civilian with no regard for the rules of war. Moscow said earlier on Monday that it was concerned at the fate of the Russian soldier and will look at options to defend him. Now, Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov noted, however, that Russia did not have the capacity to protect his interests in person. Russia's embassy in Kyiv is currently closed. Now, Shishimarin, wearing a blue and grey hooded sweatshirt, watched proceedings silently from a reinforced glass box in the courtroom and showed no emotion as the verdict was read out. Information coming through says at the time of the killing, Shishimarin, 21, and other soldiers were traveling in a car they had seized after their convoy came under attack, and they became separated from their unit. When they spotted Mr. Shilipov, he was speaking on his phone. Shishimarin told the court he says he was told to shoot him with an assault rifle. His defense lawyer told the court on Friday that Shishimarin had only fired after twice refusing to carry out the order to shoot, and that only one out of the 3 to 4 rounds had hit the target. He said Shishimarin had fired the rounds out of fear for his own safety, and he questioned whether the defendant had intended to kill. In one dramatic moment during the trial, the victim's widow, Katerina Shalipova, confronted Shishimarin. Tell me, please, why did you come here? To protect us? She asked Sitina, Russia's President Vladimir. She asked, citing Russia's President Vladimir Putin's justification for the invasion of Ukraine. Well, it's a difficult time. It's a difficult time, and you put a young person like that in the battlefront, and when they think their lives are being threatened or under command or under duress, they have to do all sorts. I'm not saying justifying what he did, but it could be that under duress he had to do that, and that's what has happened. But what do you think about all that? This is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. We've got about 7 minutes to cross over to Cyprus, where we have our own lady, the one and only HRH Linda Pallien there. So stay tuned, don't you go away. Now, quickly, let's try to have a look at one other story before we go on. We'll come to the UK. I'll bring you one story from the UK. Now, US President Joe Biden has warned China is flirting with danger over Taiwan and vowed to intervene militarily to protect the island if it is attacked. Now, speaking in Japan, he appeared to contradict long-standing U.S. policy in the region, although the White House insisted there had been no departure. Mr. Biden drew a parallel between Taiwan and Russia's invasion of Ukraine, prompting an angry rebuke from Beijing. He is on his first tour of Asia as U.S. president, visiting regional allies. Mr. Biden prefaced his remarks saying U.S. policy towards Taiwan has not changed, but his comments in Tokyo are the second time in recent months he has unequivocally stated that U.S. would defend Taiwan if China attacked, in what has been seen as a change in tone. The U.S. has previously been vague on what it would do in such a situation. But with what is happening in Ukraine, well, what will the U.S. do? China regards Taiwan as a breakaway province that must be reunified with the mainland, as Russia also views Ukraine as a breakaway part of Russia. Interesting. Now, Beijing's foreign ministry spokesman Wang Wenbin insisted Taiwan is an inalienable part of China's territory. There's no room for compromise or concession. The Taiwan question and the Ukraine issue are fundamentally different. To compare those two is absurd. We only again urge the U.S. to abide by the one China principle. The U.S. has no official diplomatic ties with Taiwan, but sells arms to it as part of Taiwan's Relation Act, which states that the U.S. must provide the island with the means to defend itself. At the same time, it maintains formal ties with China and also diplomatically acknowledges China's position that there is only one Chinese government. Well, so what do you think is going to happen? Are we going to be seeing this century? No, not this century. This century is a long one. In this decade, or a couple of years to come, a full-blown out war in all that part of the world, having some in Ukraine and having it spread into Asia, China, Taiwan area. What are we going to be seeing? Are we getting to the Armageddon? Well, it is all coming away from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. The final segment of our story is making the rounds. Now, a hospital worker held on suspicion of poisoning has been held on suspicion of poisoning a child in the Birmingham's Children's Hospital. A health worker has been arrested on suspicion of administering poison with intent to endanger life after a child died at Birmingham Children's Hospital. The 27-year-old woman was arrested on Thursday, hours after the death, and has since been suspended from her role at the hospital. A spokesperson for the hospital said this child was being treated in the pediatric intensive care unit. The woman has been released while investigations continue. Forensic tests are also being examined, West Midland Police have said. The woman was arrested on Thursday evening at a property in the West Midlands area on suspicion of administering poison with intent to endanger life. A spokesperson for the force has said the family of the child are being supported by specially trained officers. A spokesperson for the Birmingham Women's and Children's NHS Foundation Trust said it was supporting the infant family at this distressing time and asked that privacy is respected during this process. Now, following the death of an infant at our pediatric intensive care unit at the Birmingham Children's Hospital, we've asked West Midlands Police to examine what has happened in line with our own safeguarding policy, it added. In a quote, it said the staff member involved has been suspended by the trust following the national process on the sudden unexpected death of a child. You know, one thing that cropped it up when I saw that story was that, is it that somebody went to do that as a ploy to maybe give a dog a bad name and hang it? So if they do that, she will be fired, right? Okay? And so what happens? Is it something that they'll be looking at when it comes to the investigation as well? That maybe somebody changed the medication or drug there, and therefore when she was taking it to administer, she took the wrong one, took a poison, or they should bring the poison from home to do that. And then she did. What exactly is going on in her head then? Well, this is all Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. We're bringing the first part of the program to a close. Now, Confucian sees about 9,500 ineligible people in Wales offered or given the booster. 9,500 wrongly offered COVID booster jab in Wales. Are you one of them? Well, if it's protecting you, kudos to you. But this is where I bring the first part of the program to a close. We take a commercial break, we come back, and I take you straight to Cyprus, where I have the one and only HRH Linda Pallien all settled in to bring you Career 101. Stay tuned and don't you go away.
The CEO Experience presents Meet the Property Entrepreneurs. Master the wealth blueprint in a space where we are consciously empowering ourselves. Join us at our knowledge-filled events where you network, learn, and grow whilst having fun. Learn from the UK's best property experts as they give a masterclass and share their secrets on how to attain wealth and achieve freedom. The CEO Experience. Be inspired.
Welcome to the winner's circle. If you made it here, it means you done put in the work, dude. Congratulations.
Welcome to Gabby Dave Global. We are a UK-based online e-commerce store, the first of its kind with license to trade in African products. Some of the products are clothing brands and all beauty accessories, hair and beauty brands, natural aphrodisiacs, processed and dried unprocessed food. Our mission at Gabby Dave is to connect African and Caribbean businesses to customers globally. At Gabby Dave, we ensure our sellers get the best deal for their products. We are not just here to help you reach a wider audience. We are also a distribution center to support business growth by fulfilling orders to your customers from our warehouse, making sure customers receive their products on time. We are inviting all Black-owned businesses to trade on our platform because we strongly believe Africans have a unique brand the customer would appreciate globally. So get in touch today and let us make your product and business go far. Here are some of the benefits of using Gabby Dave Global. User-friendly platform, track your shipment, online support, transparent process, multiple SKUs, multiple products, a platform that encourages manufacturers as well as traders. Our marketing and PR interventions amplifies yours. Organized products and categories for easy access and navigation. Access to global community, especially within UK and Europe.
Back in Ghana on time and in time. You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820, or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamb Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy. Welcome back to the program. It's now gone exactly 12 minutes to the top of the hour, and we got with us our own HRH Linda Pallien, all the way from Cyprus, joining us this afternoon on Career 101. And let me go straight to her and let me say good afternoon to you, Linda.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing very, very well. And you?
I'm fantastic, thank you.
Good. Wow, have you been sunbathing over the weekend or something?
I'm sunbathing now.
Ah, good for some. Well, listeners, our own Linda Pallien for you. Yes, I hope that you had a nice weekend.
Yes, it was very relaxing. It was quite a busy couple of days, so it was nice to relax, and it was raining a lot as well, so there wasn't much.
Oh, no wonder you are sunbathing this morning or this afternoon. You see, listeners, I get jealous when Linda always tells me that, it's sunny there. I said, well, I can make the UK very sunny as well, though it might not be that warm. Okay. So what are we looking at today?
Today we're going to do a general frequently asked questions for career consultants, frequently asked questions that people might be wondering in terms of leaving their jobs.
Frequently asked questions
for career consultants.
Okay. Now, if you're listening to us, what questions have you been asking career consultants? Anytime you get in touch with them, what do you ask them? Do I leave my job? My boss is giving me a grief. And I think that this one job that I really wanted to, when I was applying for it, I said, this is something that I dreamt of it. Now, I'm going a few months on, or a few years on, I think I want out. Now, is that a question that you pose? Well, let's go back to you, Linda, for her to throw more light on that. Over to you, lady.
Fantastic. I'm going to start with your question because I think it's a brilliant one. If you're struggling with your job right now, a lot of people come to us and say, should I leave it? There's so much uncertainty now. Does it make sense to leave it? To leave my job as it is, or am I being oversensitive with the way I feel about my career? Well, what we would normally say is it a bad day or is it a bad life? Because everybody has bad days, right? So the first thing to do is really understand how long have you been feeling like this, and give yourself some instances. So for example, you can even keep a diary. For Monday this happened, Tuesday was okay but I didn't feel great, Wednesday this happened, and you can tell whether it's one person that is making you unhappy, or some policy, or the job description, some part of the job is just not for you, or you're not performing, that makes you feel unhappy, or it's other people, and therefore you can take it up with HR or management. So really pinpointing, before you ask, should I leave, figure out specifically what's making you unhappy. Now, I have a friend that says, if you hate the job, your job so much, why are you so scared of being fired or of leaving?
No, scared of being fired because where would the money come from to pay the bills?
Well, if you hate it, surely it will get you the freedom you need to go find something you actually love. Like anymore. But I think it's such a key sentence to remember. If I hated this much, what would I miss if I leave it? And apart from the money, and one thing about money, and I was saying to a client this morning, is when you know yourself and you know, hey, I've done this, I created this job from scratch, I have these skills, I have this is why I'm hot list, right? You know that you can, in any scenario, you can go and provide those services for some money. So confident in the skill set that you have. I'm very hardworking. I may not have had experience, but I've done this and I've done that. I always land on my feet, and give yourself enough evidence to show that you can do it, even if it means you have to take a menial job just to get the money, but you'll be happier than being
Linda, we are losing your audio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think it's to do with Skype, really, because I'm in the office today.
Oh, okay.
Yes, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's it. If you hate your job, figure out exactly why, and then what it will cost you to leave. So if it's the money, how much do you need to replace in terms of income, and not in terms of the minimum that you need to replace. You might be paying 900, but maybe you only need 400 or 500 to live. So if I can make 500 with less hours, can I then use those hours to develop myself to get a job that I love? So
and when you say that is based on, to keep your sanity, because at times you think there's what's going on, you think your brain's just going to burst because of what is going on. Do you think it's because of to keep your sanity, you just leave it and then just try to survive, and then later on you can look at what your prospects are?
Yes, definitely. One of the things I say is, if listeners know Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you have your food safety levels right at the bottom, where these are the basic needs you need to survive. Your air, food, water, clean, basics.
Yeah.
And then you have your mental sanity and your health, like just feeling good, and your spiritual well-being. That comes next. And then it comes into your career and your business. So I find a lot of people say to me, they feel guilty when they come to me and say, I haven't thought about the business, I'm going to talk off, I'm going to be busy, and this person's ill, or my husband's ill, I'm caring for them. well, you've gone back to the basics because the basics isn't covered. You can't go on, so it's natural. And give yourself the grace to do that. If you put in a job that makes you think and happy, because you want to make sure that your sanity is health, that's good health, you can move forward. You know, you work your way up in a different place. Start to be a pleasant person, that somebody you want to attract the best resources to you. Because imagine if you go into an interview with lawyers, what they want to do is, oh, this person's going to be sick all the time. In good health and in good spirits, it's easy to have a relationship. But this is why.
Okay, listeners, please just bear with us because we do have some a bit of break in the audio. Yes, just bear with us. We'll try to. She is in the office today, so it's something to do with where she is. So please just bear with us. But today we're looking at frequently asked questions for career consultants, and a couple of them we put across, and she's addressed it. You want to know more, or you have your own questions that you want to send through as well? Why not? Feel free to do so. Send it or post it on our Facebook page, and I will ask her, and I promise you she's going to address it. Okay, so over to you, Linda.
Fantastic. I think it's to do more with our communication channel than my Wi-Fi.
Okay.
But anyway, we'll figure it out.
Okay.
So we've spoken about when to leave. Also, another thing to ask yourself is what's keeping you comfortable. It's a very, very important exercise because whatever position you're in, whatever career position or personal position you're in, there's a reason you're doing it. You know, human beings don't do anything just as a machine. There's a reason, whether it's comfortable, it's less work, it pays the bills, as people may say, I can do it with my eyes closed, whatever it is. So whatever job you're in, there's a reason you're there. So understanding what's keeping you comfortable, it's a really good place to start to see if all of those things are worth risking before you go into a new job, or if you can keep all those things constant whilst you go into a new job. So that's another thing to bear in mind. What's keeping me comfortable? The next question that I get asked, is it worth it? Is it worth it now to change my career? Or maybe at the moment I'm providing a product and it's really heavy and I need to take it from A to B, and actually if I stop and I do an online service, it might be better. Or if I work alone rather than working with people, if I'm my own boss, then I'll be more successful. Nobody will tell me what to do. A lot of us dream like this when you're transitioning from working with it for somebody and working for yourself. And I think it's definitely a good start into thinking about entrepreneurship or thinking about career change for that matter. But the trap that most people fall in is that we believe the grass is always greener. You know, this person seems to be doing making a lot of money, and maybe they're just doing forex and they're just working from their laptop maybe 5 minutes a day, and I need to be able to be doing that. But you really want to know that if you're not working 8 hours a day, if you're not making the money that you need to make, I don't know if you would make the money you need to make within 5 minutes or 4 hours or whatever it is. You know, so understanding that you need to be able to make the most with what you have right now to be able to then transfer it in a better machine. But the problems that you may face are still the same. So for example, a lot of people go, oh, maybe this network marketing company doesn't work, I'm going to try this other one. Meanwhile, the problem is you don't know how to sell the product, or you don't know how to build relationships. So really not deceiving yourself and getting to the grassroots of why this isn't working for you will help you in any other business that you start and in any other venture you go into, but solve the teething problem rather than changing career for the sake of changing career or wanting the variety. That's something, a trap that I see a lot of people fall in. Okay, are you
yes, I'm with you.
The next thing is about fears. You know, some people admit that they're afraid of what will happen if they do something else. You know, and do I have to start again from the bottom? Do I have to? What if I'm not good enough? What if maybe I'm only qualified for this? I have so much training in this. Why change? All of these play a factor when you're considering leaving your job. So, understanding that life is a risk and so is changing careers, and just normalizing the fact that you may fail, because that is a fact.
Yeah.
90% of businesses fail within the first 90 days. But it's a risk. It's a risk. You might change your job and find you don't like it.
Yeah.
What's the alternative for you?
Be sad.
Sad for the rest of your life and then get fired anyway because now you're a very miserable person to work with.
Yeah.
Or take the plunge and it's 50-50 that you might be happy. And if with the right coaching, with the right tools in place, you increase your possibilities of doing better. You know, getting paid more, getting the recognition you deserve, getting a better team, getting a job that suits you better. It's a risk, but definitely worth taking, especially when you do it properly.
Yeah.
So understanding the failure is part of the process is definitely one of them. Another question I get asked a lot is, I don't have the skills they're asking for, should I apply anyway? But I know I can do the job. Should I apply anyway? Yes, I would say in general, yes. It depends. Sometimes recruiters say desired skills or required skills. Especially if it's a desired skill, then yes. But if it's a prerequisite and what you don't have is keeping the job, then you're just wasting your time and theirs. But if you know that you can do the job and you can show evidence of doing it, even if you haven't done exactly the same position, but other experiences that you can showcase, which will give you transferable skills for this job, then definitely do apply. But make sure that you showcase those transferable skills in a way that relates to them, to the recruiter. Those are the conditions I would say to if you don't have the skills, whether to apply for the job as well anyway or not. Okay. And then understanding what are the fears that you may have in making that decision. What are the fears that you might have in deciding whether to change jobs or to stay the same. So put all these fears down. Maybe I'm afraid I will fail, I'm afraid people will laugh at me, I'm afraid I have to beg back for my old job when I realize I can't do it. I'm afraid that I will lose everything I have to start from scratch. All of these fears, write them down and then classify them as a real fear. So what's the probability it's going to happen and what is the perceived fear? Am I just making this up? That people send the streets and laugh at me or whatever it is. Realistically, is that going to happen? No, so that's a perceived fear. But when it's in your mind, it's heavy and it weighs on your mental health. When it's on paper and it's all laid out, you can understand better what's a real fear and not. And from that place of power and of knowledge, you can decide whether this is an opportunity for you or not.
Okay. Well, listeners, Starr Radio UK and Career 101 with HRH Linda Pallien all the way in Cyprus. And today we are looking at frequently asked questions for career consultants. Now, have we addressed some questions that was bugging you If not, like I said earlier on, you can still send them in, and at the end of the program you can still send it to Linda. She will help you on that front. I say it all the time. It's in the abundance of water. It takes only the food to be tasty, because it's all there for you. The resources there, everything is there for you. Why don't you tap into it and better your life and better your career? Well, so let's continue. Over to you, Linda.
Finally, there's a question that I keep getting asked a lot. And recently I was talking to a job candidate, and I could understand and empathize why you would need that. So it's about salary. Again, this is the bit that not many people talk about, where the company puts you through these psychometric testings and all of these rounds of interviews, and there's about 6 rounds, and then you find out that they're not paying near as enough as you would want or you think you deserve. And she was making the point that it's a waste of time, because if I knew the salary, then I wouldn't apply, and then we don't waste each other's time. So should you ask for the salary? I'm pretty sure if we took a poll for listeners, there'd be a divide of whether you should. And within career consultants, it's the same thing, whether you should or shouldn't. What I would say is it's helpful if you know the salary range and the comparables, but the reason why employers don't put salaries on there, because you don't want to just attract people that are motivated to spend money but don't really want the job.
Yeah.
So I think it's okay within reason to ask for a range or an idea of a range if that's very important to you. Say at this position the average price is this, for example, doesn't meet the standards or not, or what is a range. I'm not asking for an exact figure because I know that would depend on my skills or whatever it is, but what is a range so that I can prioritize, because I have these reasons why I have a minimum figure. So I want to know, of course I'm really interested in the job, but to save both of the time. And most hiring managers will tell you when people this of this.
Okay.
I don't make more them. So that's how you can get around it. If you can get into talking to somebody and explain that you need at least a range or an indication, so that you can decide whether it's the right opportunity for you or not. That's the way around it. But under normal circumstances, when people ask for salary before anything, a lot of people, especially when I advertise, I see this a lot of people, well, how much is it? They don't even know what the job is. They just go, how much are you paying?
When I tell you that you're going to brush the teeth of a crocodile every day,
and you may have negotiated bad if you're like, I'll take it. That's life-threatening. You can tell who's serious and not, but there's a way to do it if you need to find out the price range. Asking with some explanation for range is always a good way to go about it. But if it's a big company and you can either find out through ex-colleagues or workers a range, maybe it's a government sector, they have these bands. Different professions, they have these bands that you're able to get an idea, and that's on you to then do your own research.
Okay, listeners, it's been a wonderful afternoon here on Career 101. Questions that are frequently asked by or posed to consultants. Now, that's what Linda has addressed, but like I said earlier on, maybe you have got your own peculiar one that maybe somewhere, somehow, upon all that we've done, we've not touched on it. Well, you can still contact her and put that question to her. She will help you on that front. But if you come to me, I'm offering a job, and all that you're asking is the money, I know from the word go, I'm not giving you that job because you are money conscious. You are I don't think I will even check you out.
It's true. It's true. And a lot of people feel so entitled to it. And, well, why wouldn't you tell me? And oh, you're trying to exploit someone. It's like, no, I'm trying to find the best person for the job.
That's it. That's it.
If you come to me, you're going to make me 10 grand. I'm happy to pay you 5 grand.
Yeah.
And I always say, people are always recruiting. Like, this is always recruiting. You always look for someone who's going to give you solutions. And if you can fix my problem, and if you can cure my pain, then it's worth whatever you're charging. But you have to prove that first, rather than going, oh, have you got $1 million? Okay, well, let's talk about maybe how you can do something for me to earn that $1 million. It doesn't work.
Yeah. Okay. Well, has this been captured in the books at all? Any of the books?
Absolutely. So I have in the career, actually that's where I'm reading from. It's chapter 10, I think, of the career success book. Here we go.
Yes, it's on. We can see it. Yeah.
And in there, answer questions. What to do with multiple interests? Should you work for free? How do you know if this is the right opportunity for you? How do you future-proof your career? There's a lot of frequently asked questions in here that we haven't even been able to cover in this section. It's all in there. There's a range of books called the career books, and you can find them on Amazon or Waterstones, in Book Depository, online, of course. And if you're in Cyprus, you can buy them directly from me, or you can order a signed copy for Christmas as well. They make great presents for people that aren't happy with their careers or just not sure what to do, or maybe just starting out. For example, the How to Career book is a great resource for them. Career success is for people that want to get ahead in their career. So what's the next stage? When you're in the holidays, this is what you read, this is what you implement to be able to get ahead in your career. And then of course the workbook will get you working towards reaching that goal. You know, this is the time, a lot of us don't have time when you're doing the day-to-day to work on career planning. So now is the time to start working on your career planning. So come next year, you can be in the dream career that you dream of, or in the next position of the promotion that you're working on. Definitely, these are great resources. There's 3 books: How to Career, usually for early careers; Career Success for professionals; and the Career Workbook, which is for everyone. Anyone that wants to evaluate their business opportunity or their career progression.
Wow. Well, a further step on. Now, if you have not, gotten your hands on the book, we've given you how you can get your hands on the book. But well, maybe you want to just contact Linda directly for some questions or to guide you in other areas. Feel free, because she is a career coach. She is my cheerleader, okay? Yes, and she can be your cheerleader as well. So, Linda, if people want to contact you directly, how do they do it?
Fantastic. As Archie said, I am my cheerleader, and my handle is my cheerleader, MyCheerLinda, and you can contact me on social media at my cheerleader on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or at Linda Pallien as well, at Linda Pallien, or you can visit my website, lindapallien.com, and you'll find out more about the books, more about the courses I have out there that are super affordable. I think some are £10 for an hour's worth of knowledge that people pay tens of thousands to study. You cannot afford not to do it, and that's on different subjects. Whether it's the right career for you, how do you know what's the right career for you, how do you know what your zone of genius is, what is your talent, how to sell yourself, how to ace interview questions, how to make sure that your CV is converted. A lot of people have silly mistakes in their CV that they don't even realize. And to a trained career coach, we can tell you, do this, do that, this doesn't read well, and you can get that for 10 years. What more do you want? Definitely check that out. So that's on the website as well. And any of my next events are also on there, online and in person.
Wow. You know, if you are listening to us, there's a saying that it's better to teach somebody to fish than to just give the person a fish. Well, that means every day the person is going to come to you for another fish, one that has been consumed. But what better way to bless somebody or give them a Christmas present that will make their lives, when it comes to their profession, their careers? Please, how much will it cost you? Maybe call it a bucket of KFC or McD's, and you would have given the person a lifetime of prospect. What about that? So we want to say, Linda, thank you very, very much for this.
With pleasure. Just to add to what you said, say, ask for money, get advice. If you get advice, you get money twice.
That's right.
So definitely, this is all the careers advice you need in the books. So this is all the advice you need to make as much money as you want. Don't go asking your parents for money. And parents, if your kids or your family members are asking you for advice, then this is all the advice they need. So it makes a great Christmas present.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. You're welcome. Have a lovely day. We'll catch up later.
You too.
All right then. Bye.
The CEO Experience presents Meet the Property Entrepreneurs. Master the wealth blueprint in a space where we are consciously empowering ourselves. Join us at our knowledge-filled events where you network, learn and grow whilst having fun. Learn from the UK's best property experts as they give a masterclass and share their secrets on how to attain wealth and achieve freedom. The CEO Experience. Be inspired.
Welcome to the winner's circle. If you made it here, it means you done put in the work, dude. Congratulations.